Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Stockradar Stocks on the Move for another week. My name is Richard Lee and I manage the stockradar.com.au website for you. Today is dated the 3rd of October 2024. Well, it's amazing, a lot of turmoil in the world at the moment. Our markets are still making new highs. So it's a strange thing that happens out there, but we just follow these trends. And today what I want to talk about is trend reversals. How do trend reversals work and why, and then how we use them to our benefit. So it's one of the two signals we use, but I just thought it's good to go over these signals. It's also good for the seasoned trader to just go back to some basics sometimes, just to look at the basic reasoning behind it and how we use them. Okay. So firstly, what I want to do today is go to the top 10. And the top 10 ratings follow up with ARB at the top there, doing quite well. You can see the chart there, it's moving on its highs towards R1, up around $52, $53. And it's a nice little breakout trend reversal there, and now a new high, which is triggering another move higher. Prometheus keeps going higher and higher. Amazing, some of these stocks, as is Telex. Ventia Services doing very well. QUB, little transport stock that finally broke to new highs and is just pottering along nicely higher. Ansell, one of our health stocks, which has had a really quick resurgence, as some of the other health stocks have as well. Aristocrat made new highs, is going very well. WiseTech, Breville Group, and then Sandfire's a more recent one that's gone in as well. Okay, so that's the top 10 ratings there. There are more top 10 ratings on Stockradar, but they're the top 10 we've got at the moment. And the stock pick count there is up 2 to 69 this week, so 2 new ones this week, none out. 54 stock picks of 154 stocks, so about a third of stocks there, qualified trending stocks. Okay, so that's it there. So now what I want to do is go to the overseas markets and look at these indices here. Not a really lot of change here. Dow Jones broke to new highs. It's just making new highs each week pretty well. Volume's fine, momentum's fine, no problem there. I'm getting a bit boring. It's like I'm saying the same thing every week, but it's what they're happening, and this is what they do. They trend higher. No matter what's going on in the world, you follow the trend, and that's really what your definition is. Cool heads, cool prices. Follow the trend is what you've got to do. So that's what we're really trying to do most of the time. Okay, so that's the Dow, there's the Nasdaq there. You can see that hasn't got through its new highs yet, but still looking pretty strong there. Some reasonable buying. Acceleration slowed a little bit as we've gone through this corrective phase, but I really think while it remains above this support bubble area, not a lot to worry about. The S&P's made new highs, so it's looking fine, no problem there. Volume's good, everything's fine there. Our market itself, it's making new highs. It's been quite strong since we had this breakout here. We have a little pullbacks, also all markets do that, but for the moment it's good, momentum's strong, so I see no reason why this shouldn't go higher at the moment, despite what we want to worry about. Okay, so don't worry, just follow the trend is basically what we're going to do. Okay, gold, well, this just keeps surprising us, keeps going higher and higher, volume's been good. Really, we had a big breakout here. This is what happens when you get a big breakout. This big imbalance occurs and the buyers are overwhelming the sellers. We have a little bit of a pause and congestion area here, a bit of contemplation period if you like, but then we break a higher again and it's just making new highs week by week, this one, COMEX Gold. Okay, copper, well, it's had a big struggle and this big trading range has been in for a while there. It's recovering a bit after this fall. Volume's been okay. It's a bit better last week. But really we've got to get through this big area up here at R1 before we really get too excited about anything there. Okay, and crude, despite the worries of the world, despite what's happening in the Middle East, this is not doing anything. So that's pretty disappointing, really. But that's what it is. It is what it is, and that's what we follow. So Brent crude's going down. All stocks are struggling. They have moments of lucidity every now and then, as we hope they're going to go up, but they don't. So that's Brent crude, and that's what's happening there. Okay, now this video is really about showing you how we trade and why. One of our two key signals, the trend reversal pattern. A reminder, even for the seasoned trader, as I mentioned before, is to go back to basics and just look at what we've got here. Remind yourself what's happening between the buyers and sellers, because it's not just squiggly lines on a chart. It's actually the interaction between buyers and sellers we look at. So I'm going to look at today, basically looking using the property stocks as the limelight. After a very dour period, a lot of these stocks have broken up again and have looked very good. So I'm going to focus on those and see why is this happening. We know the stock cycle moves in waves. It goes from trend, goes from the top, the distribution area, to downtrend, to the bottom phase where we get accumulation, then back to uptrend. And this cycle repeats itself over and over. So this is what we follow, and that's behind our analysis supporting our analysis. And trend reversals is the bottoming phase where we get the accumulation and the break to new uptrend, which is what we'd like because we're long only traders. We don't short the market. The market is a long-term uptrend always, so that's why we bias ourselves to the upside. It's called following the trend, whether it's a long-term trend or not. Okay, so that underlies a lot of things there. So I just want to show you a slide. The next slide I want to show you here is really, this is the key to my trend reversal pattern really. Trend reversals is when the price action changes from lower lows and lower highs to higher lows and then higher highs, and that really is a very, very good filter if we're looking at the market. The reason we don't sometimes do so well with these because we get taken in too close to the market. We don't stand back and look at the bigger picture. It's not the right micro picture which we're going to focus on because that goes up and down all the time, and the down ones worry us, the up ones we get excited. But what we're looking for is the macro, the overall picture of what the trend is doing. Okay, so we're going to go through a few stocks today and have a look at those. So I say, what are trend reversals? They are a shift in control from the sellers to the buyers, and it's a slow shift that occurs with a trend reversal, but that's what happens. The sellers control the downtrend, the buyers control the uptrend, and in between those phases there are changes occurring, like from the top to the bottom where the shift goes from buyers to sellers, but the bottom part goes from sellers to buyers, and that's what we're interested in. Okay, so let's have a look at a few of these property stocks. We're going to look firstly at Charter Hall Group, which has had a nice little reversal here. We can see the clear downtrend it had from 22 through to 24. Lower lows, lower highs, all the way down here. Then we get this pattern that changes here. We start to get some demand through here. Then it makes a peak and a rally there. Then it comes back and we get a higher low. So that's that key signal there where we get that higher low, potential change in direction. Okay, so then we get a move higher again and it makes a higher high, which triggers the trend reversal pattern. So what's happening here is we've got the sellers dominating this downtrend here. This here, that the market comes into balance between sellers and buyers, and slowly the buyers take control and push this market higher, and then we get an uptrend phase. And the uptrend phase are what we like because we never know where they're going to go, and often they exceed our expectations, and if they don't, we just have to follow with a stop anyway. So this is the uptrend here for Charter Hall Group. The trend intensity rating is 9. It's just slowed a bit the last couple of weeks after a meteoric rise there out of that trend reversal pattern. And you can see down here we've got the key indicators of trend above the moving average. Volume is expanding. Now, there was a big sell last week. It did push the price down a little bit, so we're wary, but there's no real problem. It's above our stop loss. Markets do this, okay? They go up and they go down. Remember that, okay? But overall, the macro picture here is we've got positive momentum, volume, moving average and price trend, all saying this is in an uptrend phase. So that's why these stocks have changed, and that's why we've got some signals to buy them. Okay, so that's the Charter Hall Group, which is looking pretty good. Charter Hall Longwell, another similar stock here. Again, you see the pictures are slightly different. We've got the downtrend of lower highs and lower lows, and then it starts to change here. Demand kicks it higher, comes back and creates a higher low above that low point there. Okay, and then we get a fairly good rally here on some pretty good volume through here. If I just squeeze it up a little bit, you can see it a bit better there. Some pretty solid volume driving this higher here. So that's when we get the breakthrough, the trend reversal level. It makes a higher high there. Okay, we've got the prices above the moving average. The volume is expanding, and as is momentum. So when this broke high, it would have been a trend intensity rating of 10. It's just slowed a little bit. It may well come back even to the support level here, the old high, but still be okay. Okay, because that's sometimes what the behaviour is. So in any market, you can see the ups and the downs always go through. Don't focus too much on the day-to-day or the week-to-week moves. It's the bigger picture we're looking at. And here we have Charter Hall Whale looking pretty nice there, and a similar picture to what we saw with Charter Hall. This volume, is all the attributes that we need are there for us. Okay, so another one, Growth Point Property, which is GOZ. It's also done a similar thing there. Again, we can see this downtrend, a long downtrend from $4.50 down to $2. Quite a big move down. Lower highs, lower lows, all the way down here. Then we get this more flat period, this accumulation phase. You can see what's happening. It's all the same. It's not that similar. So it is all similar. The micro detail is different, the macro picture is the same. So we get this accumulation pattern here, we get a high-low pattern through here, both of these patterns here. This first attempt failed, it's come back, it's made another attempt, and this time it's got through here. So we get our trend reversal trigger when we get that higher high, okay? We can also see here, we've got a bit of expanding volume there. We just squeeze it up a little bit. So you can see just through here, we've got some nice volume pushing through here as the momentum kicks higher. And this is that alignment of the stars that we always have, which occurs simultaneously. It moves above the average, it makes a price trend break, volume expands, and momentum moves above zero. Okay, so again, trend intensity rating of 9, just as it slowed a bit the last couple of weeks, but basically everything's intact there for this uptrend to continue, okay? And of course, always protected with a stop. Okay, the next one I've got is GPT group. Again, a slightly different picture again, not such a deep downtrend here, but a lot of this action through here, which is really a real battle between buyers and sellers. But we did get a new low here, so we've got lower lows, lower highs, lower lows here again. Then we have a pretty good rally here. We see this come back. It doesn't make a new low this time. It makes a higher low and then turns around. So we've got my signal here, my early warning signal here at higher low. What I'm looking for is this to break here. So I don't really mind what this price does. I'm really just focused on the price action itself and where it's going to go. And here we hit a breakthrough here. It's kicked higher. Great volume, good momentum, above the average. So R1 is probably the expectation of this at the moment, but we just follow with a stop, protecting it if it doesn't get there or it even goes past there, okay? So that is GPT group. Let me just work their name there so you can see what we're talking about. GPT group. So it's got a beautiful trend reversal here that we like to see. So these are really just how they work. That slow shift from sellers to buyers that occurs, and then all of a sudden the buyers start to dominate and the price push higher. So that's really what they are and why they work, because the buyers and sellers, the interaction between those two is what drives it. Okay, so that's the property stocks, and that's a simple trend reversal pattern which you'll see time and time again. You know, don't look for exactly the same picture because they'll all be different. Look for the high low and then the high high. Excuse me, because that's really what we're looking for when we're looking at charts, price charts. And we do this regardless of what the fundamentals say, because I know often the price will lead the fundamentals, and a lot of these situations here, excuse me, fundamentals. Fundamentals price was advancing there, and we're wondering why, and that's because the market's usually higher. It's a little bit like having inside information when you look at a chart, because the buyers that know stuff are buying there, and they can push the price higher, and so that's actually what happens. So we just follow the price. That's what gives us our signal, okay? So GPT, trend intensity rating 8 out of 10, still very strong, not maximum, but still very strong at the moment. So there's four stocks for you. They're all doing similar things, and I've also got in the property sector, I think Centre Group, probably Stockland, and I think Vicinity Centres are all in there as well, all done similar things and in different ways. Okay, so that's the main stocks I've got to say to you. You've always got to manage your risk. Use complementary trending attributes, which are those 4 things that I use, that I focus on. They lead the way for me. They've never let me down. So that's why I keep using them. Now I can also overlay this template on other stocks. Okay, so we look at another stock here. Today I want to look at Intertech Pivot. So what we're doing, we're following probabilities. I'm not predicting anything. All I'm doing is jumping on something that's already occurring. So with Intertech Pivot, it's had a downtrend here for a while. When we get accumulation pattern where the market goes sideways, and this has gone sideways for over a year. Okay, so sometimes we've got to wait a long time for this to happen, but it does get up here now. It's come back a little bit last week, and that's fine. You know, that's what happens. Maybe it won't break this time. Maybe it will go higher. We don't have a signal yet, but we have a downtrend. We have the accumulation phase where the market's gone back into balance from the seller control to the buyers and sellers battling it out. Nobody's really on top here at this point here, so we're really waiting to see what's going to happen. So if I'll just squeeze this up a little bit. So see, there is a bit of volume here. That we can see through this pattern here, driving this price higher, which is a very good sign. It's moved the price above the average now. Just here you can see it's worked above the average, and momentum has now started to move above zero. So the trend hasn't turned to up yet, so we've still got a neutral trend intensity rating of +2, but the probabilities are good because it's above the moving average. The participation is good, which means volume, which is more buyers and sellers, which is appearing. Okay, and the acceleration of the price or the crowd behaviour is what the momentum index gives us, and that's now turned positive. So there's positive crowd behaviour behind this. So Intertech pivot, all we need is the most important part is the price to confirm what we're already getting there. So we've got our downtrend, we've got our accumulation phase, remember downtrend, accumulation, uptrend, distribution. Downtrend accumulation. So we're in the accumulation phase before the uptrend phase. So that's where we're at the moment with Intertech pivot. So that's one you can watch for yourself and see what happens. And I've got lots more of those on Stockradar for you to have a look at on Stockradar. Okay, so that's really the main charts I want to look at today. I think that the trend reversal is a strong pattern. It's very useful. We use it all the time. It's one of the two signals I use: trend reversals and new highs. And in fact, the trend reversal itself is also triggered by actually a new high. So new highs are really the things that I use all the time, and that's just a price trigger that triggers my entries. Okay. So that's the trend reversals today. That's all I really want to talk about. I want you to focus on those because there's plenty occurring. What's happening in Stockradar? I do have a special on at the moment. If you buy 12 months, you get 15 months, so you get 3 months free. That will go until tomorrow night. So I'm going to send out a little email today, which I sent out 2 weeks ago, just reminding you of that. So if you do want to get on board, you get 3 free extra months if you sign up before tomorrow night. Okay, so really the process, probabilities, and a trend develops. So you follow your process, you work your probabilities, and a trend develops. So it's really the same old process all the time. Okay, there's no guarantee, so we risk manage every trade just in case it doesn't go right, because this is not a perfect science. It takes a while, but we do trade the probability, so we get more right than wrong, and that's how you make money, slowly but surely. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, look, it's been an exciting week, and the markets are exciting at the moment, no doubt. Try and put aside all the turmoil. Try and put aside all the economic figures, whatever's going on in the world that you might worry about. Don't worry about it. The price tells you what it's doing. Keep cool heads, and you will make cool decisions, and that's the way we always work. Okay. So watch your trends, heed your stops, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Thanks very much.